Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 186. Today we're joined with Eric Fiore from pbergpcrepair.com. Ooh, Eric, you got a nice new logo on your website.
Yeah, I changed it around a little bit. You like it?
Much better. And I do like the picture of you fixing the computer in there. It shows.
Yeah, everyone was telling me to put that back there, including you. So
Yes, it's good.
yeah, I got to change some of the other stuff in there, but at least the front page.
Hey, one thing at a time. It looks good.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us again.
Mm-hmm.
So enough time has passed since the last show, so you probably have a new load of information to give us, right?
I got some. I got some stuff at least.
Okay.
At the very least.
Why don't you enlighten us?
Sure. The first thing I want to talk about, and this is a job that I heard a lot of other people doing, and I never done it, but I'm glad I know how to do it now. That's fixing an Xbox 360. If you ever get this job, do it because it's so easy to do. It's unbelievable.
Not the one I did. But first of all, let me just ask you. You didn't just wrap a towel around it, right?
I did not wrap a towel around it.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
You know what? After doing the repair, that might actually work.
What did you do?
Let me explain exactly. First of all, I put the instructions list in your forums.
Okay.
So if you want to go there, anyone who wants to go there can take a look there. But I'll explain it step by step because.
What was the symptom, first of all?
The symptom was, and I never heard of this before I went to these people, but apparently it's common because I saw a lot of postings about it online. And it's when you get sound but no video.
Oh, it's not the red rings.
It's not the red rings.
Okay.
The fix is the same as the red rings.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So what you do is, now what I ended up doing is, and I'll never do this again, but there's repair kits online you can buy, and I ended up buying that, and I found out you don't need that.
Okay.
Well, what they give you in there is some thermal paste, some cleaner for like the heat sink, and a couple screws, basically.
That's it?
They give you, the only thing they give you that's useful is like a tool to open up the Xbox.
Okay.
It makes it easy to open up.
Yeah.
But I opened it up without using it. Anybody took it out.
Yeah.
And so after you get it open, and it's pretty simple to open. You have to take the faceplate off. And in the back is where you really need that tool because there's like these clips that if you don't have this tool, it's a real pain to get open. So, but anyways, after you get it open, you can find in there is you're going to find two heat sinks. One of them is gigantic. Okay, and that's for the GPU.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the problem is. So what you want to do is take off those heat sinks. When you flip around the motherboard, you can take the motherboard out, obviously. Flip it around, you see these two, they're called X clamps. And you're going to take those off. Okay?
What clamps? What clamps?
They call them X clamps. They look like two X's right next to each other.
X clamps, okay.
Yeah, they look like two X's right next to each other. They call them X clamps. And you take those off, you take the heat sinks off, you clean off all the old thermal paste, probably be all dried up and everything. Clean off the heat sink, just use alcohol. And when you can put it back together, but when you put it back together, don't use the X clamps. That's where you need these screws that they give you. But of course, you can use any screws. The only trick is that you're screwing it right against the motherboard. So what you have to do is the washers you use, you have to make sure to use nylon washers.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you put the screw, a metal washer, a nylon washer, motherboard, nylon washer, metal washer.
Right.
Then the heat sink. You follow what I'm saying? So the nylon washers touching the motherboard, you won't short out anything. Okay? So you put that on all 8 of the positions where it's screwed in or held in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? After you do that, you put it back. You put the motherboard in. You're going to put the fans back in, but do not plug in the fan. This is the important step. Do not plug in the fan. And you want to turn on your Xbox. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to watch the rings in the front. And as soon as you get two red lights.
All right.
Okay? You're going to wait 2 minutes after that. Then you turn it off. You wait till it cools down. You plug the fans back in. And that's the fix.
Wow.
That's how easy it is.
Damn. I did that with the washers and everything, but I didn't do that 2-minute deal. That probably was the reason. Didn't work.
Yeah, that's from what I read online. That's the most important step. Is you have to wait for 2 minutes, and supposedly, what it does is the problem is that the solder becomes loose or something, and when you do that, it heats up the solder enough to where it reseats the GPU. It's fixed.
So you're overheating it for that 2 minutes.
You are overheating it, but it doesn't damage it. Well, even if it doesn't damage it, it's already damaged anyway. You know what I'm saying?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense because the reason you're putting the washers on is because the motherboard bends, right? And those X clamps aren't really forcing the heat sinks onto the processors there. So with the washers, when you screw them on, it straightens out the motherboard. So, but it's probably still making a cold solder connection till you run that 2 minutes and overheat it, and then it'll melt it back into place. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, I mean, when I first read that, I said, that's not going to work. And I did it, and it booted up fine, and I made some easy money off of it.
So how much do you charge for Xbox repairs?
I charged him $80, and the reason I only charge $80 is because, I was looking online, and you can get like an Xbox used one for like $130, $140. I'm like, I didn't know if they knew about that, but I didn't want to charge like $120 and they could get another one. No,
that's a good price. I think it's a good price because they're so cheap, Xboxes. So you can't charge a couple hundred from that. They just buy a new one.
Exactly.
Especially they just had a price drop too, where the Elite's down to $299 and the Professional's $250 now.
Yeah. Well, if you do have a problem with your Xbox and you don't want to go through fixing that, I would just get the arcade because the arcade's like $150 or something like that.
Yeah, the arcade's $150, but if you want HD, it only has composite cables.
Oh, it doesn't have HDMI?
No, it doesn't have HDMI, and there's no. Whoops! Hang on a sec. A video was just downloading. Okay, one of my laptop videos was just downloading, and it started automatically. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and plus it doesn't have a hard drive, the arcade.
Yeah, but you could use the hard drive off of your existing one. If you have the red rings or a problem like that, you could just take the hard drive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You mean, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But I don't have that problem. So.
Well, that's good. I might start trying another one now.
Yeah, it was such an easy problem, especially after I figured out you don't really need to buy that stupid kit.
Yeah,
nothing in there.
Yeah, you don't need the kit.
And I kept that tool for opening it up for next time. If I ever had another problem like that.
Yeah, that was fun trying to open it up for the first time, but once you figure it out, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, so you've done it too, where you get those things in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took me a while to figure out. But
that's cool though. I mean, if you could get a couple of those and get your process down, you could knock those babies out.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Microsoft, for faulty engineering.